Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Please remain standing. Before we go into this further class, maybe on the first stage where we pray for the class one. Before you go into seat, please keep those scattered paper and read through. Do you know who is the class secretary? Is there any option today? This can be here that there is no absent today. So, am I audible at the back?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is any one of you has a problem when it comes to hearing or vision? If there is such, tell me and I will let you say the prayer. And if any one of you has a need of bathroom or any necessities, just raise your right hand and tell me. Okay? Are we clear about that class?
Yes, sir.
So before we're going to start our class, we have first the class of rules. I want you to read it towards the class of rules.
Listen when someone is speaking. Raise your hand before speaking. Remain in your seat and pay attention during discussions. Be respectful to everyone.
It is your class of rules. Alright, the class of rules class is to you.
Yes, sir.
That's great. Yes, we're coming in. Okay, you have this. Now, class, I would like to ask you if someone of you has a final C. Is there any of you final C or in C? Or good at singing? Since some of you are good at singing, I prepared some activities with you, what we call the reflection. So here, I prepared this song entitled Pastanpo Ang Kapaligiran by Sing. While singing this, guys, I want you to reflect on the message of the song. And after which I will go to ask you some question after singing this. Okay, guys, are you ready? Okay. Anyone who would like to try? What do you think is the message of the song "Mas Mo Ang Kapaligiran"? Bernadette.
For me, sir, the message of the song is that we should take care of our natural resources, or we should take care of our environment. And as a person, we should be the steward of nature, sir.
Thank you, Bernadette. That's right. It's all about how can we protect the environment, how can we save the planet Earth. Anyone would like to try? And yeah. Yes, Laika.
I guess, sir.
Yeah, what's the message of the song?
For me, the message of the song is there is a threat from the future generation. So if we fail to protect the environment, then the future generation will suffer.
That's right. So if we are not going to protect the environment, the next generation will go to suffer. For the song that you sing, what do you think? And from the idea that you had, what do you think is our topic for today? Any guess? What would be our topic for today? Yes, Isaac?
It starts about climate change.
Yes. It's all about climate change and global warming. So our lesson for today is all about climate change and global warming. But before that, we give Isaac a round of applause. Okay, since we do not have with us a project board, because what we are using it for some reason, I would like to review the objective of our lesson for today. The objective of the lesson for today would happen to this. Here's okay. The objective of our lesson for today is that at the end of this discussion, students are expected to define and differentiate global warming and climate change. The second one is identify the cause and effect of global warming and climate change. And the last one is to demonstrate action to reduce the effect of climate change to a group activity. So, let's define first what is global warming. Like I can read the PowerPoint.
Global warming is the rise in greenhouse temperature due to greenhouse gases.
Based on the reading, what is global warming?
Global warming occurs when the temperature rise due to the effect of the greenhouse gas.
Okay, it is right. So, very good. Okay, yes, we go. So, global warming is rise in Earth's temperature due to greenhouse gases. So, how is this happening? That global warming is stated that Earth temperature due to greenhouse gases. As we can see in the environment today, we might feel that the temperature is different from the past years, right? So the cause of it is some impact of global warming, as we can see, is the increase of the molecules of carbon dioxide. So if the carbon dioxide will accumulated, there will be called there will be called a change of temperature. This is why we called it, or that's why we stated that it is a rise of temperature due to greenhouse gases. And we're going to discuss some effect why the global warming stated that it is the effect of the greenhouse gases. So next one, let's define what is climate change. Jen, can you read the PowerPoint?
Climate change are
Yes. So climate change stated that long-term change in weather patterns, including rising temperatures, severe storms, and other effects. So the effect or the cause of climate change is something to do with, or something to have a connection with the global warming. Sometimes we feel some disasters in that may arise in our everyday life. Sometimes we feel like the temperature is like it's not changing. That's how climate change is. And sometimes we feel like there's a heavy rain and we might think that why is it the heavy rain doesn't stop? It prolonged for a week, it prolonged for a month. That's what we call, or that's how we define climate change. Are we clear about how climate change and global warming pass? Okay, let's proceed to the causes of the global warming. I have listed here three causes of global warming. So may you read carefully the three causes of global warming.
The three causes of global warming is number one, pollution, number two, greenhouse gases from cars and factories, and lastly, the forest emissions.
Yes. So that is the three causes of global warming that I listed. But first, let's define greenhouse. I call this the greenhouse gases from cars and factories. Ruth, can you read the presentation?
Greenhouse gases from cars or factories. When we burn fuels like gasoline, coal, or natural gas, factories and in car factories and power plants, gases like carbon dioxide and methane are released into the air. These gases traveling from the sun into the air lower than the planet.
Based on the reading that you've had and your understanding, Ruth, what is the cause of the greenhouse gases? Who wants to help Ruth? Sherry, can you help Ruth? Based on the readings, from your own opinion, what is greenhouse gases?
Greenhouse gases come from the from the gases that come from factories or cars or debris or many burn fuels like gasoline, coal or natural gas. So when these gases are released into the air, these gases are from the sun. So I think these are the greenhouse gases.
Yeah, that's right. So, for greenhouse gases, Sharian is right. So, the use of the natural gases like yeah. So, for example, gas. Um, this is the environment, right? This is the atmosphere. This is the atmosphere. This is the grass where as people thrive. So, okay, let's draw a scientific explanation on why how the greenhouse gases can contribute to the temperature of the Earth. So we're living in the grass and we have the atmosphere. So we as a human always use cars, right? So cars can be what we call the carbon dioxide. If the carbon dioxide goes out and then goes out, it can be trapped in the atmosphere. So the temperature of the sun has something to do with the carbon dioxide. If this carbon dioxide trapped in the heat of the sun, they come back together, they can produce more heat temperature that can cause for global warming. For example of this is this picture. As stated a while back, that some of the contribution to the greenhouse gases are from the factories and cars, right? And that's how the carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases can affect the temperature rising in the face of the earth. The second one is the deforestation. So deforestation free naturally absorb carbon dioxide from the air. When we cut down trees or when we cut down forests from farming, buildings, or other uses, we lose the natural ways of removing carbon dioxide. This is how deforestation can contribute to global warming. For example, is that as you can see here in our surroundings, there is a lot of trees. So you can breathe here, you can breathe naturally, and sometimes you can feel it is something like cold. But if we cut down trees, there is no one going to absorb the carbon dioxide. As far as we know, that carbon dioxide can be carried by trees or by plants. If those trees are cut down, and we can never see a lot of trees, if the number of carbon dioxide increases, and there is no one who will go into accumulating, it contributes also to the heating process of the earth. So the carbon dioxide that is not emitted by the plants can rise up also and can be part of accumulated carbon dioxide that produce the greenhouse effect. We are clear about that. This is how deforestation can contribute to global warming. And the last one is the pollution. So, can you recognize it? What is pollution?
Pollution factors level and waste can release smoke, chemicals, and harmful particles into the air. Some of these pollutants also act like greenhouse gases, trapping heat and damaging the earth.
Okay, so pollution, as far as we know, pollution can contribute also to the global warming or global issues that we are facing right now. As you can see here, this picture, there are certain chemicals here. When we burn those garbages that is made in fact here, they can produce also, or it can contribute also to the global, to the heating temperature of the earth. That's how global warming works. Are we clear about the impacts or the contribution of some global issues that make our earth temperature increases? Okay, let's proceed to the effect of climate change. I have listed here four effects of climate change. The first one is the ice cap melting. So in the polar region, like the Arctic and Antarctica are getting warm. As a result, glacier and ice sheets are melting. This adds more water to the ocean. So as we say a while back that the global warming is one of the causes of climate change. Okay? So and as we said earlier, that the global warming is a sudden increased rising of temperature of the earth. So as the definition of climate change, it is the wide range. It is the wide range of it's a long-term change in the weather pattern, including rising temperatures, severe storms, and others. One of this is what we call the ice cap melting. So as we can see in the polar region, in polar region area, that it is defined as the ice or cold lakes, wherein there are forming a lot lot of degrees of ice. So this happened that the polar regions are melting because of the increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So as you can see in the picture, there is a what we call a layer and an ice. That is one of the representation of the cloud melting that causes by the global warming that contribute to climate change. And the next one is the sea level rising. Can you read the PowerPoint? What is sea level rising?
Sea levels as melt as ice melts and oceans get warmer. Sea levels go up. This can flood coastal cities and small islands, making it dangerous for people living near it.
Based on the reading that you have, you're rolling percent. What do you understand about sea level rising? What do you understand about sea level rising?
What I understand about sea level is the rising waters in the oceans.
That causes by
Yeah, that causes by ice melts from the Arctic. And that can affect the people or the cities who live near
that's right. That's one of how climate change happens. That as we stated earlier, that some part of the Arctic and the Arctic oceans are melting. There's a certain what we call the rising level of sea water. The low tide and high tide is different from sea level rising fast. Okay? And next one is extreme weather like typhoon, drought, heat waves. Can you read Joanne PowerPoint?
Climate change causes more intense and unpredictable weather. Typhoons and hurricanes become stronger, droughts or long dry periods affect farming and water supply. Heat waves, extremely hot days, can harm people and animals.
Okay, so extreme weather, this climate change happened. Yes, Max? Yes, you can get this one. Okay, let's continue our discussion. Okay, let's continue our discussion. So, this extreme weather can affect us. That typhoons and hurricane becomes stronger. Drought, low dry period affect farming and water supply, and heat waves, extremely hot days can harm people, animals, and crops. So this extreme weather can affect us as a human. Mostly if we had new crops and you can affect that if there's a long period of summer. Like what we experience, I think if you have a father who is farmer who experience this, that there is a long period that they did not want rice due to the continuous continue yes increasing of the heat index, and that's what we call they call it La Nina and La Nino. We're in El Nino. Okay, I said to be corrected, it's El Nino. And La Nina. We're in El Nino, it is the process of the drying of the land. And La Nina is the continuous rain. Next one, let's proceed to the impact on agriculture and wildlife. So in the climate change, there is a certain effect in our agricultural and of course in wildlife. For example, in global warming, what we call the deforestation, there's a contribution when it comes to climate change. Wherein, if we cut down trees, there is no um, the animals that resides in the forest have no longer place to reside. And of course, in agriculture, as first stated a while back, there is a certain what we call the drought or the lack of water that can be used for agricultural work that is being done. And next one would be, yeah, that's how the global warming and climate change can affect us as a human. From our discussion class, can you differentiate what is global warming from a climate change? Yes, Vernon.
The difference between global warming and climate change is that global warming focuses on the rising of heat temperature, while climate change is the normal effect of changing in weather conditions.
Thank you, Vernon. Since you are already know what is global warming and climate change, I know for sure that since you are familiar with global warming and climate change, talk about how can we fight global warming and climate change through some solutions. Okay. So some solutions and action that we were going to think through are using renewable energy, plant trees, reduce, reuse, recycle, and repair. And of course, save electricity and water. And last one, avoid single-use plastic. So this solution can help us navigate global warming and climate change in the due process. As so are we clear about the class? So today class, I have prepared that with you. A teacher will group the class, that we're the construction class. The teacher will group the class into three. The three group is given a task to meet between one song, slogan, and a roll call. The group who is holding the leaves shape will be grouped. The group holding the leaf shape will be the group who is entrusted to make a jingle, and the group who is holding three shape will be the slogan group, and the last one, the group who is holding a variety shape will be a role play. So how can we find out that if we were belong to those group? There is a certain sticker that is placed under the armchair chairs. Right, holding class the sticker. Can you raise it? For this group here. And for the rest group here. And the three. Okay? The this group will stay here. The rest group will stay here, and the three group will stay here. Here is the task. Okay, we'll provide this task. And you can form a circle. Form a circle flash. Okay, for the new group, you're going to construct or do on how can we help then give language. And here's your criteria. It is your jingle. And for the next group, you're going to make a role play on how can you help stop climate change or how can you contribute to ease the effect of climate change. Here is the criteria for your activity. And for the three group, you're going to make a slogan, and here's the criteria. And last, this activity is good for 50 minutes. So I hope, since this is a group activity, I want you to work with your group. Here is the material for you to use. You can just use one. Okay, we'll look after 5 minutes, okay?
Bagay nito batong kulin.
Uy, bakit kan lagi na naman? Bakit na lagi na?
Bagay mo ito. Outfit mo.
Bakit na lagi na? Bakit na? Bakit mo isip ini? Hindi. Bakit na lagi na?
Okay. Are all group done with your tasks? Since everybody done their task, may we have the presentation go up to your proper seats.
discussing the climate change solution, and the scene is a school courtyard, and the five of us are sitting on a bench during lunch and chatting.
Ang last.
Guys, I read that global temperatures has hit another record high. It's honestly scary. Is there anything we can really do? Absolutely, Alex. Climate change is serious, but there are solutions. It's about action, bold and small.
Technology plays a huge role too. Solar panels, electric cars, wind turbines, and they're getting better and cheaper. We just need to use them more.
And let's not forget nature. Nothing trees, saving forests, even growing gardens in this set absorb carbon dioxide.
Right, and we also need to speak up, join heritage marches, write the leaders and push for laws that cut pollution. Change happens when people demand it.
I guess I always thought it was up to governments or the companies. They matter, but we all have power, like using less electricity, recycling, or buying instead of driving.
And supporting green tech. I switched to a search engine and the plant trees every time we use it. It's cool, right?
I started composting at home. It cuts down waste and helps the soil.
I start petition to make our school go solar, but sign in.
Definitely. You're all doing so much. I want to help you too. Start small, use less plastic, eat less meat, share what you learn, that is that happens.
And we can work together. Maybe even start a climate club.
Yes, we could plant trees, organize cleanups, and run workshops.
That's how change begins, with people like us.
Alright then, teamwork, let's do this.
Okay, let's give a round of applause. It's a classic. Definitely, these class discussions, like before discussion, how we can create the global world. It was a nice presentation. And next, we will have the digital group. Can we give them a round of applause?
Twinkle, twinkle, shining bright, let's protect the earth tonight. Save the trees and keep them tall, clean the air for one and all. Be the sweetest, don't delay, recycle things never way. Walk or bike to place the light, together we can make it right. Water is precious, keep it clean, less pollution, keep it green. Solar power, wind and rain, nature's needs we must sustain.
Okay, give a round of applause. Okay, so we also welcome or have here in front the slow wave group.
Good morning, everyone. Our slogan is Act Now for a Better Tomorrow. So, it implies that we should act now, so we should start to protect our environment. We should not cut down trees or do any illegal activities that could destroy our ecosystem or environment. So if we act now, we could ensure a better tomorrow for future generations.
Okay, here are your scores for the story making or the role play group. They scored
Okay.
22 points. the Jingle Group, they scored 21 points. And for the Slogan Group, they got 23 points. So, good job, guys. I know that you are clearly understand that our lesson for today is all about global warming and climate change. Today, let's do the recap. Let's have a recap for our discussion. So the first question is, so that if you want to answer class, you can just raise your right hand and there is a certain prize that awaits you when you answer the question correctly. So the first question is, how does climate change affect our environment? Anyone class? Yes, Karina?
Climate change affects a lot, sir, because climate change can affect agriculture and wildlife, sir.
Okay, that's right. It can affect wildlife and also our agricultural areas. Let's give Brenda a round of applause. The next question is, what is the main cause of global warming? Yes, Joanna?
All human concern greenhouse effect and deforestation.
That's right. Let's give Joanna a round of applause. And for the next question, what are the solutions that we were going to take in order for us to help? Yes.
We must plant trees, reduce plastic bags, and don't burn plastic.
That's right. I said it's right. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay. I think you're ready for a quiz. Your quiz is this one. A machine like quiz. Are you done, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here is your assignment. Anyone read the assignment? Yes, fine. Can you read the assignment?
Provide interview a family member and ask what are you doing at home to help the environment? Research and write the paragraph why is climate change a threat to future generations.
Okay. That is your assignment, class.